Welcome back. I'm Grant Goody. Sometimes not knowing the long road ahead is a good thing. Deborah Tucker admits she and her husband Robert were better off being a little naive when they purchased their 7,000 square foot fixer-upper in Columbia, Missouri. But the Tuckers had high hopes, and fortunately, everything worked out the way they wanted. Today, their 1909 colonial revival is in tip-top shape, and key pieces from its past have surprisingly fallen into place. It took courage and vision for Robert and Deborah Tucker of Columbia, Missouri, to restore their 1909 house, despite finding out that 4 previous owners had tried and given up, claiming it was the proverbial money pit.
Rob is the visionary. He can see what the final product is going to look like. He looks around and he doesn't see the paint that's peeling off or the ceiling that's falling down or the splits in the walls.
When Robert and Deborah purchased the Colonial Revival home in 1999, it had been converted into 3 apartments. The Tuckers' massive plan was to reclaim the original floor plan.
We had everything to do, all the plumbing, the electric, the insulation, the heating and cooling issues, restoring the boiler, removing all the vinyl siding.
And as the long list grew, one ceiling was on the verge of collapse. While Robert was tearing it down, the home dropped its first historical hints.
Rob gave a shout and said, "Deb, you got to get up here." So I came up and there was paper just fluttering down to the floor.
They carefully sorted through the delicate papers. And when Deborah discovered a 1910 letter, she knew it was worth framing. She was surprised to see the name Tom Taylor on the letter, as it was the same name that was on a different letter given to them by the previous owners when they moved in.
And it was just a little love letter, and they thought we would like to have it. And we kept it and we read it, and it was cute.
The letter was found in the house years ago. It's also dated 1910 and is addressed to Tom Taylor from an admirer named Harva.
She's flirty, she's vivacious, so it's really quite cute, and she signs it lovingly.
Deborah never imagined the romantic sequel to the first letter would literally land in her lap.
This letter is dated Sunday, April 24th, 1910. And he obviously in his letter told her that he was crazy about her because she makes a joke about, now, don't be too crazy about me because I'm afraid of crazy people and I don't want to be afraid of you.
The letters turned out to be a link to the home's original family. Robert and Deborah learned that Tom was one of John and Elizabeth Taylor's 7 children. His father, John Taylor, was a self-made businessman who got his start selling wagons. He later owned several music stores, and when Robert struck a deal to buy a 1909 piano, he had no idea it was a key purchase.
I was cleaning it one night and getting all the old varnish off so you could see the tiger stripes in the wood. And I opened it up, and on the inside here it had John's name, and it says John N. Taylor. And this was built for one of his stores.
Robert and Deborah never expected the Taylor family history to play out before their eyes. But a kind act from a stranger was perhaps the biggest surprise of all.
Deb and I were sitting in a restaurant in town, downtown, and we were approached by a waiter. And he said, "I have something that I think you'd like."
The waiter told them about a cosmetics case, which he knew had ties to their house.
He had some roommates who used to live in the house, and they came across it, and when they moved out, they took it with them.
The waiter felt the case belonged with the house, and he returned it to the Tuckers. They discovered the case was filled with personal mementos from as early as the 1920s. It belonged to Eleanor Taylor, John and Elizabeth's oldest daughter. Eleanor, who was a school teacher, lived most of her life in the house. That is, when she wasn't out globetrotting.
This is sent airmail. It's a ladies' lingerie shop in Florence, Italy, and it's an order for a set of napkins.
And there's a hotel receipt in here. She stayed at the Portland Hotel in Portland, Oregon. Her total bill was $33.95.
Eleanor's travels add another memorable entry to the Tuckers' home history. An evolving family story that's as special as the house itself.
We were part of bringing this back, and and feeling like they're kind of watching over their shoulders and saying, okay, that would be good. It makes you feel good. It just gives you goosebumps and makes you feel like you did something right.
Since Robert and Deborah have become familiar with the Taylor family history, they've noticed some fun similarities to their lives. Like John Taylor, the home's builder, was a local businessman, and Robert also owns a local business. Eleanor, the Taylor's oldest daughter, was a school teacher, and Deborah is also a school teacher. The couple says it feels like the Taylors' experiences weren't all that different from their own. When we come back, we'll revisit the 1905 Maine farmhouse we showed you earlier and discover how years of burning down an old woodpile revealed a useful New England artifact. Stay with us.